What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing things a little differently. Now I know for rollers and real talk, I'm in rollers and I'm sipping tea. But for this episode, I needed to let my natural hair breathe. It felt like my hair follicles were suffocating because I had that U part on. I would just wash my hair, put it right back on. So I said, you know what? I really need to let my hair breathe. So that's what it's doing. That explains why I don't have rollers in. And why I'm not sipping tea is because when we went food shopping the other day, I forgot to pick up tea. So y'all gotta just bear with me. Yeah, be right back. Okay, so I'm back. I got a Gatorade. It's not exactly tea, but that's fine. Okay, so for today's episode of Rollers and Real Talk, or Buns and Big Hoop Earrings, I want to discuss moving in with your significant other. If you already, done experienced this, then maybe this video is not for you. But if you are considering or in the talks of moving in with your significant other, I think that maybe you should take some of what I have to say into consideration before you make that big step, because that's exactly what it is, a big step. What I did was I listed a couple things that I felt like really spoke to me and Child's relationship. So the first thing is, what's privacy? We think privacy is me having my own time, focusing on myself, getting my thoughts together, getting my emotions in order, and just really spending time with yourself. When you take that step on moving with someone else, especially if it's like a one-bedroom or a small modest apartment, you don't have privacy. Okay, I think the most privacy you may have is while you're on the toilet. And depending on your comfortability, you may not even have privacy in the toilet. I don't even have privacy in my shower. Like, I can't even take a shower without Child busting in the bathroom, trying to find something, trying to ask me a question. Like, there's no such thing as privacy. I want you to know that if you live alone right now, relish in the moment. Enjoy your privacy. Take full advantage of your privacy. Because if you're thinking about moving in with someone you love, there's no such thing as privacy. The second point that I want to point out is space. It's not just a button on a keyboard. Now, that can pretty much coincide with privacy. You don't really get a lot of space when you decide to live with someone. Like I said, if you're living in a modest apartment, it's not that much space anyway. So the only space that you really do get is, going to work, going to school, doing things on your own time. But as far as moving in with someone and thinking that y'all going to be able to give each other space, it is very difficult. Now, if you're fortunate enough to live in a big old house and you got an upstairs, downstairs, basement, and attic, then by all means, you would know space very well. But unfortunately, Child and I are not at a point where we could afford a house like that, have the luxury of personal space. We don't. From the minute we wake up to the minute we go to sleep, we're pretty much joined at the hip. Sometimes he tries to we gonna get into that. I'm not even going to. Let me focus on one thing, because I was about to jump right smooth into the third thing. Okay, so yes, so with your space, my advice to you, if you decide to move in with your significant other, is plan out time for yourself. Whether that means if he's going to work and you're off, focus on yourself. Don't run and hit errands, or just really focus on yourself, because you would truly lose yourself mentally, spiritually, emotionally. You will lose yourself because you're so considerate and consumed with the other person that you begin to feel like, okay, wait, what about me? So I feel like even if you don't, let's say that you guys are both off on the same day you're supposed to go to work, take some personal time at work, because again, when you're living with someone, you don't have that freedom to focus on yourself 100% of the time, because 98.9% of the time you're wondering what this other person is thinking. If you go out to eat, you gotta figure out, okay, should I bring him or her back food? Should I call when you're out to eat? Like, call in, okay, let me take a picture of the menu. You know what I mean? Like, you're considering your other person. It's not a bad thing, But if you're not used to sharing, yeah, moving in with a significant other may be an adjustment. I want you to really take that into consideration. The third point that I'm going to bring up is uncleanliness ain't so godly. Okay, so I'm sure you guys know in the Bible it says cleanliness is next to godliness. My apartment is a hellhole, if we being honest. Okay, men are, and I'm sorry men if you're watching, but men are the most filthiest creatures. Now I'm not talking about straight nasty, like leaving, you know, bowls with food in it, you know, for weeks on end. That's not what I'm talking about. That's not what I'm tolerating, first of all. Even if you are like that, I'm not tolerating that. But see, living with a man is very different. You know, as a female, most females are very organized. They like their makeup, their shoes in order. I feel like if things aren't like in order, I can't sleep comfortably, because I feel like I'm gonna wake up to a mess, and nobody wants to sleep with that. For me, that creates anxiety, and I ain't got time for that. Child, on the other hand, he's okay. This is his side of the bed. He doesn't mind it. It doesn't bother him. Those things those recyclables could stay up there for 3 weeks, and he'd be fine. He'd be fine until the recyclables in the kitchen pile up, and I'm like, all right, babe, you need to take this trash out, and he's like, all right. Type of thing. But it won't bother him if I don't say anything. He's cool with it. To me, that could be a bit of a gear grinder, because I feel like if you're done with something, throw it away. I mean, that's what a normal person would do. If I'm done with something, I'm just gonna throw it out. Now let's talk about clothes. Child has 2 hampers. I bought him one, and he bought himself one. He has 2 hampers. Please explain to me why there's a pile of clothes sitting on the floor. I'm not going to zoom in because his drawers is there, and I ain't trying to put my baby out like that. But, like, do men have common sense? Like, is that a thing to the male world? I just don't understand. So child has this thing where he has 3 piles. He has a pile of clothes, which I'm assuming that are dirty. He has a pile inside of a hamper that I don't know if they're dirty or clean. And then he has another pile, I believe it's just his work clothes. I don't know how this goes. So when I want to clean up and things like that, I just assume everything is dirty, because if it's clean, why would it be on the floor? And then he gets upset because I mixed his dirty clothes with his clean clothes, and his clean clothes with his work clothes, and his work clothes with his dirty clothes. I'm just like, bruh, have a designated hamper for your dirty clothes. Hang your clean clothes, and your work clothes you can put in the front, because that's what you do anyway. You walk to the front and get dressed when you're on your way to work. But no, to child, that doesn't make sense. It's just easier this way. That's what he's used to. Let's talk about leftovers. Usually I'm cooking dinner. If he's not ordering, I'm cooking dinner. I feel like in a relationship, if the woman cooks, the man should put away the dishes, you know, put the dirty dishes in the dishwasher, or wash them, or whatever the case is. Take out the trash, put the food away. Child does not know what put the food away is. I remember the very first night we were here, I made steak. The very first night we spent together in our place, I made steak. I made homemade red skin, garlic mashed potatoes. I made a shrimp and cheese sauce to go over the steak, and I made steamed broccoli. I was so tired, so all I did was fix our plates and eat. And after that, I went to go lay down. He knows that there's leftovers in there. I remember I was off the next day, and he went to work, and he sent me a text like, oh babe, I put the food away. I got up, went in the kitchen, and noticed that it was a pot just thrown with the food. He just threw the food in one big pot. Didn't even put a top on it. Had the spoon still in there. And I'm just like, is this really putting the food away? Like, to me, it called me crazy. But to me, when you put food away, you put it in Tupperware. You know what I mean? You put the water in the pot. If it's something that's sticky, like mashed potatoes, something that dries very quickly, you fill it with water and maybe a little dish detergent. You let it sit overnight. To me, that's putting food away. I mean, we talking about steak. We talking about New York strip sirloin steak, okay? We talking about 9 to 12 ounces worth of meat that is dried out because my boyfriend decided to put the food away without a top in the fridge. I'm not gonna penalize him for that, because I just felt like he didn't know any better. But yeah, that's a thing. That's a thing. And I had to nip that in the bud real quick. So I need you to understand that if you are a woman and you're considering living with your boyfriend, understand that these all play a part. Okay, hopefully you find somebody whose child was the only child, so he didn't have to worry about putting food away, cleaning up after himself, because he was the only child. His parents did that for him. So if you are from a, if your significant other is from a family where he has other brothers and sisters, I'm almost positive he pretty much got that down pat. Yeah. Okay, so moving on to the next point. His time is his time. Let me repeat. His time is his time. Playing the game is his time. Shooting basketball in the game is his time. Shooting guns in the game is his time. So if you think that you about to get loved up on, and you think that he about to pay you some mind, and y'all about to cuddle all night, and then you walk in the house and you see him on a game, understand that he ain't getting off that game. He's gonna be on that game until he starts forming cobwebs from his knees to the floor. My boyfriend plays the game in an Indian position, literally like this. And I couldn't pull him from that. I couldn't pay him to get up. If he is into a game, I cannot pay him to get up to pay me some mind. So the only thing that really pulls him away from that game is if I cook dinner and I say it's done. That's the only time he's getting up. If you see your man with headphones on and he's just so into the game he doesn't even realize you home, understand that that is your time to take a nice bath, do things about you, because he's not going to pay you any mind. He's going to neglect you for a certain period of time, of course. It's not going to be forever. That's his time. That's his time. So my advice to you is, whenever you see your man playing the game on the computer, on his system, whatever the case is, okay, I probably will be ignored, and that's fine, because we all go through these moments where we're just so into something. Like when I'm doing my makeup, child, do not bother me. When I'm on the phone, child, don't bother me. Things like that. So it's okay, as long as there's a mutual understanding that it's not personal. I promise you it's not. I'm still learning, how to deal with that. I feel like it is definitely an adjustment. Try to substitute that time for me time. I feel like that's what you can do. I watch a lot of court TV, okay? I'm a People's Court fanatic. I love Judge Marilyn Millian. That's my favorite judge. Like, I am a People's Court fanatic. So although we don't ever want to break up with our significant other, the unexpected can happen. I feel like as a person, not even a woman, but just as a person, I feel like you need to protect yourself. You need to protect your wealth. And I feel like if you go into a joint situation, even if he's providing 100%, whatever the case is, I feel like you need to have everything written down. Before we moved in, literally on our way to fill out the lease, I made sure I had a witness present and I wrote out a contract. Now, this was a personal contract. A lease is a contract. However, I wrote a personal contract to coincide with that lease, detailing everything from what we're paying separately to what we're paying jointly. In the case of, in worst case scenario, we break up and in mid-lease, this is what we're going to do. I feel like that is very important to secure yourself. Now, I remember I divulged that information to my father, and he was like, if you was my woman, I would not be moving in with you if you presented a contract before we signed the lease. And I said, well, why not? I said, I don't think that it has anything to do with me being demanding or me thinking negatively. That has nothing to do with it. But you get car insurance. You don't want to get into a car accident, but you get it for the just in case. You know what I mean? Just in case I have a car accident, I have my insurance. I would hate to be that person that's like, you know what? I got into a car accident, but I remember when I wanted to get insurance, but I said, let me not be so pessimistic. Nobody's gonna hit me. Like, no, you need to protect yourself at all times. So, I don't think that it's crazy. I don't think that it's demands, and I don't think that it's asinine that you have a personal contract. Get it signed, get it notarized, so that way, if the unexpected does happen, and it's no real guarantee. And when I say no real guarantee, a person gonna do what they want to do regardless. But if the unexpected happens, at least you can go in front of a judge and say, well, this is what we detailed. And by law, the judge has to enforce that. Now, as long as it's not some like astronomical situation, like you saying, okay, well, if you break the lease, you have to pay the remainder of the rent. I mean, I don't know if that's legal, but with our personal contract, things are pretty much split down the middle. So nobody is getting the short end of the stick. And I feel like that was very appropriate. So that would be my advice. Definitely have a personal contract. Be very clear in your contract. Definitely be very detailed as well. You don't want to say, okay, well, you pay half of this, half of this, and not have a, you know, a numerical specificity. So I feel like that's definitely important in considering on moving in with your significant other. Anything else? I'm trying to think. The last thing that I will say, because I know I'm rambling, y'all know how I get, would be consideration. In a relationship period, you want to be considerate of the other person's feelings. You want to approach everything with sensitivity and not anger. Before I moved in with y'all, I was living by myself. So I was used to myself. I didn't want to cook that night. I didn't have to cook that night. If I felt like eating out, I just eat out. If I didn't want to clean the house, I just didn't clean the house. And it was me. It was all about me. And then when I moved in with Chow, we moved in together, I realized that I have to consider what he wants. You know, I can't just say, oh, I ain't cooking tonight. I don't know how you gonna eat pot no, but I ain't cooking. I couldn't do that. So, granted, I'm not a wife yet. That's the plan. But I feel like if you want to be one, you have to carry yourself as such. Yeah, definitely be considerate of your significant other across the board. You know, don't just go out and buy something big. Consult your significant other. Whatever the case is, I just feel like you should always consult with them about things that would affect you both. Because when you reside with someone, anything you do, whether it's company, whether it's friends you keep, whether it's your family coming over, you have to consult that other person's opinion, because they have a right to pretty much the same exact thing you have a right to, unless you paying all the bills and sister, you do what you got to do. But yeah, that pretty much sums it up. I mean, I feel like consideration speaks for itself. You know, just don't be selfish going into it. Understand that this is a team effort. There is no I in team. And I feel like if you put all those things, you know, to use and you apply it to your relationship and your everyday living, I feel like things can work out. I don't want you to get scared. But these are some of the cons of living with someone. These are some of the situations that you may encounter. But overall, like, I love the decision I made. And, you know, it's nothing like living with your best friend. I love living with you. I love waking up to him. I love going to sleep with him. Yeah, that's my best friend. I mean, when I'm having a bad day, he's there to pick me up. When I'm having a great day, he's there to share with me. So I feel like in my personal case, the pros definitely outweigh the cons. So I hope this helped you, you know, consider, you know, different factors in your personal life decision, whether or not you want to move in with your significant other. I feel like if you believe that this is your soulmate, it's totally worth the risk. Just, again, protect yourself, have a personal contract, consult a lawyer, do whatever you need to do to feel secured if the worst happens. So yeah, guys, I'm out of here. I'm kind of hungry and Child is probably on his way home. I'm gonna get something to eat. I'm gonna wash this makeup off, and I will see you guys in my next video. If you guys have any suggestions or ideas about future videos for Rollers and Real Talk or even Blasian Chronicles, definitely leave it in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much again for watching. Bye.